Hello, everybody. I'm Richa, Principal Technical Staff, um, Principal Technical Architect in Global Logic, a Hitachi company. Hope you all are healthy, happy, and safe. These days, we all are talking about how the world changed and also about the COVID impact. In all industries, working ways are changing, and we all are trying to adapt the new normal. Today, we are having online conference. The whole world is shifted to online mode, and many software applications are developed or getting developed to make our adaptation to this new normal easy. As the industry is changing constantly, and these changes require the system to be more efficient, scalable, and of course reliable, so the quality expectations are also increasing day by day. The question here is how we adapt to these changes. Today morning, we have very interesting session, one by Mike and one by Chirag, about the new normal testing and also the technical testing. Those were really informative session. Today, I am going to talk about QA Ops and how to master this skill to ensure the faster and quality releases to the market. So before we get into this topic, I would like to brief about my company, Global Logic. Now a Hitachi company. We are 20 plus year old, headquartered in Silicon Valley, truly global, spread across the globe with 25 plus engineering centers and several design studios. Our engineering centers spread across India, Europe, Argentina, and US. US and yeah, we are around 11,000 employees in India with centers in Noida, Nagpur, Pune, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and GL is basically known for three competencies, core competency. One is the experience design, being able to design the right product experience for the user. Complex engineering. It's about being able to build those experiences into product across the entire stack from the chip to cloud. Agile deliveries, which is known to everyone. We don't believe only to agile till Scrum or for the software, but also believe in that lean MVP. So now recently, the IT world has been experiencing an explosion of different terms related to operations. The good old days when the global order was defined around a rule of thumb and IT as separated from business are gone never to return. Dozen of ops crowded the sphere of software testing, starting with the trendy DevOps. The successful application of DevOps, combined practice of software development and IT operations, triggered the rise of similar practices such as data ops, ArcOps, DevOps, Dev Security Ops, AI Ops, Cloud Ops. You can think of, and there will be one ops for it. All of them complement the DevOps methodology, aiming the optimization of the SDLC. What is common about these all ops framework? Yeah, you all may able to find it out. This framework are recommended to automate each and every task to reduce the human error and also talks about the collaboration of various departments and motivate all to act as a single team to work towards the common goal and faster deliveries and scalable deliveries. How are they connected with QA ops? What does the notion means? Let's discuss today. But before, let's watch uh, let's watch this video. I'm sorry, I'm not able to. Yeah, let's. Okay, whether I'm facing some network glitch. Okay, so video is all about what we want to, it is all about that what we want to show that it is. Yeah, so this video is nothing all about. We want to say that how important the QA options are involved. Okay, in every phase of the software lifecycle. The core idea behind the QoOps is to increase the direct collaboration between the developer, testing, engineer, ops instead of having them work in isolation. The product teams are often pushed to build and release faster, but sometimes this accelerate the delivery comes at the expense of quality. So I say that sacrificing quality is just short-sighted delivery strategy that always end up causing more damage in the long run. QA-ops is a practice of integrating of quality assurance activity into CI/CD workflow. It means that QA specialists should interact with the dev team, operation engineers, and involve in all the experts. So this integration will create a QA-ops. For example, for me, DevOps is nothing but delivery of the application with the change of the speed of the business. Okay, so for QAOps is something similar to the DevOps, as this framework uses DevOps mindset. Okay, mindset of direct collaboration, work as integrated team towards the common goal, and this mindset is very much important. So now we will just see another. So let's see that how this CI/CD, DevOps, and QAOps how they coexist. As I mentioned before, also QAOps means integrating QA into CI/CD pipeline. This CI/CD forms very foundation of what we call the DevOps pipeline. It's the resultant approach. Continuous integration is the first phase of the pipeline and involves integrating code and content changes for multiple sources rapidly into a single main build of the application, and then executing various automated testing to verify the functionality of that build. The execution of such and collectively referred as a continuous testing also. So continuous delivery, the next term is continuous delivery, is the natural flow or the progression of continuous integration. It involves the packaging of an application with all its deliverable artifacts together for the delivery of end user. Now comes the continuous deployment. So is the third and the final phase of this pipeline and is dependent upon the successful execution of both the prior CI/CD, that phase in that order. This phase involves the automatic launching and distribution of the package and acceptance test application to the target end user. DevOps in turn sit atop and independent upon the CI/CD approach, and it goes some steps further, however, incorporates the cultural philosophies too, practices and tooling. When these items all work in concert as designed, they facilitate the significant increase in the organization ability to deliver high performing product and or services to client in faster pace than pre-DevOps. So now how the QA ops. So QA, as I mentioned, QA ops is the operation of running and orchestrating QA across the CI/CD pipeline. It prescribes the QA process rather than being a set of isolated activity performed here and there to become an integral part of the DevOps process. So QA ops in its current incarnation can be successfully executed through the basic holistic adoption of test automation, test parallelization, scalability testing, and we can say or refer as a holistic connectivity and the collaboration. Let's take a quick one and look at each of them. So automation testing, we all know automation is a central tenet of the QA ops. It involves using technologies, tools to mitigate the otherwise manual effort and expend it upon the repeatable testing and test support activities that are characterized by automated build, deployed cycles involving environmental allocation, code analysis, unit testing and deployment, functional testing, performance testing, security analysis. So whatever you are doing, you just try to automate. This result in freeing up the QA practitioner so their time can better be spent on more important activities such as test designing, analysis, optimization, defect analysis, processing, participation in the continual improvement of the product and processes. Test automation also accelerates the testing feedback loop, which fulfills the cadence requirement of an effective QA ops setup. This can be accomplished by following. First is the automation of repeatable testing. Like we do regression. Regression testing are usually nothing but large in number, and we need to execute repeatedly, especially before major releases. So automated tested, these tests removes the burden from the manual testers, but also empowers the project to execute far more than if they performed manually. Now, the tests for new functionality should also require to be automated once they are being identified as suitable for the automation. Like in most of the companies I have seen that we stabilize our automation script by n plus script. So idea is like whenever the current script, it ideally they occur in the current state, but incorporated into the living regression in the time for the next sprint. The automation of the smoke and sanity, this is also very important aspect. Now these test case can be a subset of regression or a separately formed test together altogether. They are utilized to provide very quick feedback to all in the QA ops pipeline as to the viability of the particular build or release. Such quick feedback will facilitate quick action and definitely a quick turnaround. The automation of unit testing is also very important. So unit testing should typically done by the development team as the first check that their created code components or units behave as intended. A suite of automated unit tests is executed whenever a new build is created. So we can say that automated testing is a perfect vehicle for efficient testing across multiple browser, OSS combination. Vast efficiencies, time, and cost savings are evident by employing these methods versus trying to do this manually. The next come the parallel testing. So parallel testing definitely next, it involves execution of the instances of same test and different test or any combination thereof across a multitude of the target browser or the operating system. For example, rather than executing the test suite in both the OSs or test one after the other, it is better to it is very much time saving to test it parallelly. So we can it like in two OSs, if we want to execute a particular test set, so if we execute one after the another, it will take definitely more time. So it's always good idea to parallel do that so that both the things will happen together. Facilitating this such parallelism in terms to target that test environment, however, might require greater resourcing in terms of hardware and infrastructure. So definitely time will reduce, but we need to invest a certain amount or the time thing in resourcing as well as hardware infrastructure. An alternate cost effective solution that we are all of you we most of us use actually in most of the organization is well suited for the QAPS method also, that could be as cloud based testing environment that could be accessed as required. The next is nothing but, now we did the automation, we did parallel execution testing arrangement. Now what is next? So we need to make sure that our system is scalable. So we all know that business growth is good. Now for the company, when you developed a product and people start liking it, then you will have to scale. Scaling the product includes adding more, not only adding the more features, but making the existing features better. Scalability testing is the testing that is done against the capacity of a network, system, or the process to adapt an expected and sudden change. Application must handle large increase in changes in data volume, simultaneous user, other workloads. The scalability test can ensure that applications are ready for such situations prior to going live. You might have heard that Amazon is not reflecting or the Flipkart is not working when the days when they are having 1 million that free day or like 15th August thing. So that's where now they have scaled. Scaling Scalability testings are designed to be scalable with the CI/CD pipeline. That is very much important, and the result of such will allow definitely QA engineers to find and fix the performance issues of the application and some of the key measures or attributes of importance. Like we need to also check the testing, the response time, throughput, CPU usage, memory usage, and network usage. And now in the market, we are having a lot of monitoring tool to make sure that these all things we can use. Now, the most important thing which comes about that infrastructure or the framework, QAOps framework, is nothing but holistic connectivity and collaboration. So I have divided this thing into two parts. First, we will talk about the connectivity, and this is the last part, which is very important. That talks about that integration with the dev, ops, QA to achieve the common goal as integrated team. Okay, so the idea of improved collaboration, DevOps is also having the collaboration thing between the devs and ops. But we are talking about the collaboration from the QA point of view, which is made and realized for the following components. The first very important thing is the usage of test automation tool for every automation like unit, regression, API, performance, and other types of testing is noted given the quality automation centric idea behind QAPs. The usage of the QA lifecycle and supportive tools are vital to enable critical activities like test design, planning, execution, and defect processing. Using tools are not designed specifically for testing artifacts and tasks will lead to the inefficiencies and suboptimal pipeline, if any pipeline at all. Once these necessary QA lifecycle and supportive tools are in place, it is important to integrate the communication between them and the other application lifecycle tool to realize a tooling ecosystem. So here it is basically it's a tooling ecosystem which we need to establish. This integrate ecosystem entail the following points: seamless transfer of important project information across the tool to ensure real-time availability uh, 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 of the intended target audience. An example of this like would be ability to update a user story and acceptance criteria, and this information automatically update our automated test script related to the story. Okay, that we can use Selenium code or others open source commercial automation tool for this. This reduce onerous manual activity, easy linkage. Another thing and very important thing is required that linkage of these things like tooling. We did it. Now we are doing about the transfer of data also between the tools, but also the linkage of the is also required. For example, linking of a test case to the corresponding story requirement, test case runs and defects. This facilitates a great
Sorry to
depth.
interrupt, Richa.
Yeah.
Your slide is not moving.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, it started now. Yeah.
So we are in this holistic connectivity only. So enhance. So another very important thing which talks about is about the. It's about the. It's about the using the matrix for really defining and monitoring the things that how we are doing it. So like and yeah. So facilities. Okay. So that is like we will. This is very much required for making the decision. Such such can the entail, but it is not limited to that. Okay, so now we talked about the holistic connection where we are using tools and other sources. Now I'm talking about the next aspect, which is collaboration. So collaboration, actually these collaboration where the QA practitioner or QA team or the tester must be fully participate and contribute to a particular projects. Just in development and operation it happens, and even if requires it interchange some of the task and own it. So, like participation is in planning, daily stand up, retrospective, and other relevant project activities. Cross trainings is also required. Like we are having like development and operational skill. It happens like for the dev and ops things, and even the cross tasking, as I mentioned, that it is required actually allowing to undertake some of the development or the task likewise for the devs and ops. So when QA ops should can be used always, that's the shorter answer to when QA op should happen during the production process. This means staging, development, release, and even after when you update and improve and modify the app or the software, we need QA. When even if your entire application lives in cloud environment, quality assurance has to be the part of the entire operation. This is particular. This is precisely why it is so good releasing the bottleneck that generally occurs while with the testing. When you continuously keep checking the smaller bug throughout the entire process, the smaller bugs get fixed and it is not don't turn into the major bugs. So QA ops is especially useful in some of the specific scenarios when you know that your web application is used for localization. So QA ops is almost non-negotiable here. When you are designing the software or the application of a specific location or culture, you need to know that it actually fits in with that culture. If it doesn't, your app will fall short. QA ops allow you to connect with the testers in or near that location, so you can really see if your test software will connect or just will plain confuse. Okay, so QA ops can be extremely useful in the regression testing. We have talked about it. So we regression means previous sometimes it happens like we have a previously developed software, you need to quickly release a small patch or small enhancement or the configuration change to ensure that updates in the release is in a timely manner. QA ops can help check for any new fields that may have been created by the new information being added. If you are using an agile project management process, regression testing cycle can be viewed sometime as a overhead and causes that they feel that regression is taking time. So, but we need to be intelligently um, implement these all things, which we'll talk further in the examples or the industrial cases, that how we can do that, which will make sure that our overall development process that it provides the customer the QA ops will be integrated into the development process complete holistic way, and it allows them to provide the customers with the best software and in the faster phase. Now, do do really people use this? Yes. So answer is yes, and it's a big yes, and you will be surprised. Facebook is one of the best example of Facebook is one of the one example of how the QA ops just worked. I don't work for Facebook. No, I'm with Global Logic, but this is something I read. This is around 2014 where Facebook have implemented the QA ops thing. Facebook login feature enable user to log in into the millions of apps and website with their already created Facebook identity and privacy controls. Okay, so in Facebook decided to migrate the login thing into the Facebook Graph API version 2.0 and enforce login review for all the apps to ensure that this migration went smoothly. Okay, so what they did actually, Facebook want to test out the new version on the 5,000 large big apps. Unfortunately, in-house team is capable of handling only 500 apps. So what they did, they instead of like delaying the release, they decided to outsource. By outsource testing, basically what they did the parallel testing of different app at the same time. Okay, so they managed actually by outsourcing the testing, they had all the 5,000 apps tested in a month, were able to identify, address critical problems with more than 900 apps. Okay, that would have been possible by solely relying on their in-house team, testing team if they have. So QA ops can work for the giant of technology. So what about the small ones? QA ops can scale up or down to fit many business sizes. This includes the agencies who are outsourcing, provide for the software development, and also such as DocTom development and other things. And also, we can do it in-house by making and developing the environment as infrastructure in such a way that we will able to support big and small projects. Now, I have talked about the industry case. Let's see actually how it worked in my company. So let's take an example from our company and my company. You all know that I work with Global Logic as a company, and it's here their core competency in delivering the product in agile manner. In agile manner. So I'll walk you through the challenges we have faced actually for one of the project while we are trying to move to QA ops and why to QA ops. Okay, so what happened actually, there was a web application which we are developing. It have the automation framework and we are using Protector there. in the Java with the Selenium and the JavaScript flavor. We are using Azure DevOps to manage our CI/CD pipeline and monitoring. And where we are doing now, so we have a CI/CD pipeline where we are doing scheduling and automated deployments actually from dev environment till QA environment, and post that, which is the main environment, we are calling it as a UAT environment. There we are doing the manual promotion. So we have around 10,000 plus test cases in our in that project, and out of which we have the good coverage of automation. We can say it is around 60 to 65%. Okay, and it is having a and we are using basically feature based delivery with the TDD flavor. So in the integration environment, we are running our sanity suite, which takes only 15 minutes. You can imagine it. I'm not talking about a small sanity suite. It is having around 300 test cases in that, which runs on the pipeline. It takes 10 minutes for our automation engineer to analyze it. If it is a product issue or the script or it is a script issue where the script sometime fails because of some or the other things. As we are having how we are able to do it, definitely we have bring parallelism in our system. How we have did that I will going to talk further. And how why how come we have reduced the analysis cycle. So we are using a reporting dashboard which use AI basically. So it categorizes the test failures as, and it learns from the history the way we are segregating and categorizing the testing, and it makes our high life easy. Why, whenever the failure happen or similar type of failure happen, it says that it might looks like a product failure, it looks like a script failure, and it also gives a different categorization and color code, which help us a lot. Even I'll talk about like what is actually happening. Our regression, which we are calling as an impact regression, runs in 60 minutes or sometimes less than 60 minutes. Because, and I'm not talking about the small numbers again, I'm talking about it's having the regression sometimes have 3000 plus test cases in that, but it is not exceeding more than 60 minutes. How we achieve this all are because of the parallel testing. Now now parallel testing, yeah. So so how we have achieved this parallel testing? With this parallel testing, we have another challenge. See, we have multiple tools where we can use the parallel testing. Some people will say that okay, we can use the Selenium Grid and all those things, but there's a challenge here. There was a product, the way it is implemented, or the project which I'm talking about is implemented because of the security obligations and the optimizations what they did it for the security. It is not possible to use one test case or one user to for a longer time. It's a session timeout thing happens, and also it not allows the parallel access for that user actually. Now if you have a 3000 plus test cases, for if you want to execute parallelly, we don't have a luxury of having each test case or bunch of small test cases are having the same user. So what we did actually, so to overcome this thing, we found a tool called Selenium. So what is Selenium? It's nothing but Selenium Grid, but with a Docker thing. Another thing is, as I mentioned, that this is one thing. So number of test cases. Then another thing is that we can't do it parallelly so easily because our most of our test cases was failing when we are using the Selenium Grid. And third challenge what we were facing actually when we were trying to achieve this parallelism is, like as I'm saying, that we were doing the impact regression. So every time the suit size changes, now we can't like block the number of instances like for the 3000 plus test cases, because every time it might not happen like 3000 test cases. Sometimes it might be a 5000 test cases, or sometimes it is less than 3000. So it's very expensive actually to hold or block the instances to execute the parallel thing in that sense. So Selenium with Docker basically has sorted out these both the problems, where it is like we get on the demand Docker instance. We can achieve as per the things we are having it from the event hub. The Docker instances, enables us, and we are doing all sort of type of testing, like now browser compatibility testing. We are covering different type of OSs. We are also trying to cover now with the resolution, different type of resolution when the on the run when we do the resilient solution. So this is only possible actually by doing this Selenium usage in our project. So see, as tools are involved in so this is one of the example. I can't say that we are successful, but I just want to share that now with this achievement we are able to run the test cases, which looks like that it will take 8 hours. Now we are able to finish it in only 1.5 1.5 hours only. I'm sorry. Okay, so now as we are talking about the QA ops framework, so we have bring the scalability by using the Selenium in our system, and also the parallelism by using this flavor because it is having Selenium grid in this phase. So because here QA ops is not very easy job. Now what happens, we need to train the people and we need to make this culture like that everyone should understand that we need to do the automation. Whenever we are writing a test case or designing a test case, we need to think from the perspective of the automation thing. Even the development team need to follow certain standard to make or stabilize our automation. We have seen actually in multiple places and in multiple interviews, and when we are asking what is the challenge for the GUI automation, team comes up and says that it is happening like now our UI gets changed and our scripts gets unstable. Okay, so now how we have achieved it? We have achieved it by using the overall QA apps in different phases. The the most initial phase is planning. We all know everything starts with plan and then implementation starts. So in QA ops phase, the planning document is nothing but the test plan, or we call as the test strategy, which is basically covers all the strategy, scope and everything, what all things we will cover, even the SLAs, what our customer wants, everything. So and the second is like the development phase of the test automation, which again we can divide it into further thing. So it is the main activity whatever we want to do or develop actually in this whatever we have written in this planning phase, this need to be automate and package and then release. Okay, and then it will be utilized. So this is the very important factor. So for me, I am saying the automate, package and release in one part of the development, which I'm calling. So now now it says like very important part, let's say designing of the test case as per the requirements, and have second thing is we should have the automation framework. We can means now in the market a lot of tools are available, open source are available. Most of the always aware of that Selenium with all the programming language flavors is available. Robot framework is there. If we are using BDD and all those things, you can use Cucumber and other multiple things are there. Performance, we have JMeter, Blaze Meter, mobile testing, we have APM. So means you can use as per whatever your whatever the things or the budget suits to you. Now the next phase comes for that ki, okay, we have automated, now we need to package it. Now the packaging includes very important two versions. Like we are developing a project, we need to develop automation script also, we need to use the versioning system. We need to package it in such a way that we can able to trigger it or execute it at the time of the thing. So means high, you can create some and this is very important actually where we are doing this automation, that thing, that how we will package it. Okay, so we are it can be we use the multiple like this is how it is different in the QA ops framework, where we are talking about that automation script should also get packaged. Now the package and then they are released in the system. Now the time to trigger it, now while at the time of the triggering, you remember in my Global Logic company project example, I have mentioned about that we are doing the impact regression, And our regression suit cycle, even for the automation, varies. It changes, and it changes on the run as per the changes come. So triggering of automated test case, it's very much important that what set of test cases and what is the time it should trigger. Okay, so at the time when we need a functional testing to be completed, if it is triggering some other sort of things, then it will create a problem. And if we want, so as per the changes, and at the time when we want the complete smaller subset of the test case to be triggered, and it is triggering the overall thing, then is again it's not right. So triggering job creation of first of triggering job, and that too it should make it so intelligent that it should trigger the right test at the right time. Okay, because we are talking about the parallel execution, है ना? So it depends actually what techniques and what all things we are using. Now the fourth very important or fifth very important things is execution. Now the objective of this form, it's very, whatever we have planned it, whatever we have created it, whatever we are triggering it, it should execute it. It execute it, and very important part, it should report it. So whatever we are having, that execution thing and result sets, this is get reported. So this is a continuous cycle which keep happening, like we are having for the DevOps thing, है ना? So reporting part
Hi,
will start
Richa.
from that. Yeah.
We just have 1 minute to go. Can you?
Okay, so I'll just, so I'll quickly, it is, I'm all about to bind. I'm just at the verge where we can say that what is the definite benefits of the QA ops. Now, definitely, because we are talking about the holistic collaboration and connectivity, so better team alignment will be there. And because we have a better team alignment, we have a better quality product. And if we have a better quality product, we have a world-class customer experience. Now where we talk about the future of QA ops very quickly. I won't take much time here. So what is next? How we can make it QA ops? What is the very important thing what I've talked about is the predictive analytics. Now in the predictive analytics, which facilitate us to collect the data, which we can inherit and integrate with our effective tooling ecosystem to make the system overall intelligent. Okay, so baseline here is like we can add anything actually to make our predictive analytics right. We can use the matrix which I have mentioned about, certain that thing which will help us to decide and measure the deployment frequency, post-production incidents, defect escape rate, error rates, and many more. And if we add in the AI in that, it will make more helpful. So the future of QA ops, actually, I will say it's a predictive analytics where we can use the old way of this matrix generations, or we can also integrate with our AI system. Now, what all things we have talked about is like, it's like,
I guess,
yeah,
Richard, this will be an end, and we have Mr. Uday
yeah,
coming in. So he would like to ask questions
sure,
to the
sure,
participants.
yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt like this,
Hi,
but the time
hi,
Yeah,
was
Richa.
I was in
lacking.
the last slide only where I was just talking what we have learned
All
out.
right.
So,
Okay. If you want, you can just speak
yeah,
it out.
Yeah, hi,
hi,
Richa.
hi.
Good evening, and had a good amount of presentation, good amount of contents, and it's a good paradigm in terms of QA ops because we have heard of DevOps and Dev Security Ops, and this is a QA ops. So there are some questions, a handful of questions that you now have to deal with this.
Okay.
Okay. So here is the first question from Akshay Kumar. So what he's asking is, there is a case where SLA will be very less. I mean to say, probably the response time or any other metrics he's talking about. And automating these projects cannot be done due to the constraints like SLA. So in these cases, how do I handle? So probably he's telling in case if you want to configure SLA, let's say take an example in JMeter that online operation should be responding within 2 seconds or 3 seconds, and if it is not responding, you will want it to raise either a reporting or alerting mechanism.
Yeah.
So is it something you have done, or if so, what
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
approach?
So we are using it in our system. So what we are doing basically, this is a performance where we want to see that whether it's a microservice or the API performance, or maybe it's a UI side, that when the customer is saying that how much time it is taking. So there are two types of SLA possible. Yeah. So we have done that. We are using JMeter for it, and for monitoring it, that without the latency and the network and all those things, we are using Azure DevOps. So where it deduct all the latencies, whatever is coming up in this SLAs, or you can say the API response time, and it gives us the.
So since you are told about QA ops, in a typical DevOps
Yeah.
model, we have something called as a code, scanning.
Yes.
We have something called a Jacoco, Sonar, which scans and says that 85% of all code issues, I mean the static code review, only if it is fixed, then it will go to the deployment. So similarly, this person is asking, if SLA I keep it as a 3 seconds, 3.25 it can go, but it should not cross 4.
Yes.
So in that case, the QA ops should be aborted. So do you configure like that?
It's not aborted. Basically, it will give an alert and notification. See, this is SLA is done. Like it happens in SonarQube. It is not allowed to go further for the merging or the deployment. So similarly, we will say that okay, this is what is happening, and you need to take back. Okay, so some places we do the rollback system also, depending on how important the SLA thing, or sometimes we'll wait for the next sprint to make sure this SLA will come. It depends actually company to company, but it is possible. So it is not like it is like alert messages and notification will come up, but QA ops won't stop there because it's a SLA.
Right. So the second question from Anil Kumar Gadwari, he is asking, QA ops and QA team, what is the difference? Probably he is assuming that you are adding overload, because QA ops, again, a company has to deploy a team, they have to pay money, time, cost, effort. So what do you differentiate a QA ops and a normal QA team? If so, how?
No, it is like, see, so you can imagine actually the QA team is required. They have a domain knowledge, or they are the SMEs of the domain. Like if I'm working in the healthcare, so QAs are required. So there's no overhead because companies are already doing the DevOps. And what happens when they are doing the DevOps, they have all the things placed, CI, CD and all those things. But what happens when we are talking about the DevOps, QA will be integrated with the development, where the QA is not taken, everything is not go with respect to the QA point of view. Now in the QA apps, we are saying we will use the tooling, we will do the automation, we will do the integration or integrated collaboration, but we will do each and everything from the QA point of view. So at the start.
So do you mean that the QA used in a DevOps CI/CD pipeline is a mini QA, whereas your QA will be a majestic QA?
No, it's like an automated QA. You can say the QA are intelligent.
CI/CD DevOps in CI/CD will also be automated. If, for example,
so that's what
once you have made a go ahead.
So what happens actually in DevOps? That's what I'm saying. That when the QA is there in the DevOps, it is from the development point of view. We are saying we want to develop, and there we are integrating QA. Now in the QA ops, we might be using the same tooling. We are optimizing our automation in such a way that it will be more, but we are doing from the QA point of view. That is the difference. So if your product owner is coming up with this requirement, from there itself QA start thinking, I will design this test case, this is automable, and this need the parallelism, this need the browser compatibility thing, this need the performance SLA. So we are not taking the user story or the requirement in a single way, where we are saying only.
So in the interest of time, I'll take a couple more only. Vidhi, you'll have to please pardon me, because her presentation went a little more. So there is a related question from Dawal. It says, in DevOps development model, how is QA ops reducing the regression timelines? Is it happening parallel, or is it of any use at all?
No, it is happening.
Need some clarity.
Okay, so like I will take my company's example only. Okay, so when we were saying that CI/CD is there in place. Okay, but we were not using the parallel thing. So when the things were coming in the integrated thing, so sanity test case runs, and these 300 test cases was running with their own speed serially. We have add the parallelism, and then that parallel execution reduce the timing, and it create that only for the 15 minutes. And we have added intelligence in that because of the reportings way. So it now the analysis time also become 10. So it is very quickly giving the results. So it is not at all overhead. It is about the intelligent usage of the tooling ecosystem in the right place, in the right way, in the optimized way, you can say.
Okay. So, another question from Nikita Soni. What would need a team to convert into a QA ops? Is there any special skills that they would require?
So, see, as I said, yeah, it's not the QA ops. QA ops require the domain knowledge with and the application they are working on, and the knowledge of the tools which we are using in that. And they should be open to learn more tools. Like I'm saying, when the requirement came in my company that we need to speed up the analysis thing only, we have searched out one tool which is called Report UI IO, and we are using that dashboard for our reporting system. So no special thing, but we need QA team need to learn fast the new technologies. So we can say that QA ops is the way where we will keep learning. When we want to improvise or optimize, we need to keep learning about the new tools.
So, last question for this evening in your session. How the intelligence has been added to the tooling ecosystem? Do you actually learn something from the mistakes that you do before, and would you come back and add that intelligence back? If so, how?
No. So there are two type of intelligence, okay, which I have mentioned in the future thing when I've typed that what is the future of QA ops. One is like we can use now AI tools are available. We can stuff some of the history to those tools from our experience, like we are doing currently. That whenever the test case fails, we categorize our test case. Now, when we are running the overall regression cycles or when we are running our sanity suits on the pipeline, this reporting tool give its predictive analysis already. So it's not like we are learning after failing, but we are saying on the run, we are making our system intelligence by using AI in our system. Or we are use metrics actually, where we can define that thing. Yeah.
So there are 2-3 more questions, but in interest of time, we are already shooting off by 2-3 minutes actually. Thank you very much, Richa. I think it was a good one, new one. In fact, QA ops. Not sure how many companies can follow by investing a little more money on it, but still, I think it's a good starting and good opener. So thank you, audience, for very wonderful questions. She's around, so you can get in touch with her to get much more clarity and insights into it. Thank you again, everybody.
Thank you, Uday. Thank you, Richa. Thanks for the wonderful session and wonderful time.